California illegal immigrants will now be granted medical benefits. This comes from the conservative Daily Post. Many California policies are deliberate constitutional violations, as illegal immigrants are welcome in the same way that American citizens are. This is not only endangering national security, but it also highly is disrespectful to taxpayers, given that they are essentially funding illegal immigrants' lifestyle after they cross the border. And the most recent horrendous California legislation passage, the state mandated that it will now fund its Medicaid program to include illegal immigrants. This will now mean that while American citizens work hard to obtain health care benefits, illegals will automatically be granted such. The outrageous measures passed in the California General Assembly, AB-2965, gives illegal immigrants access to full cost health care. Unsurprisingly, this was predominantly supported by the Democrats. 33-21 voted on Wednesday, while former President Obama ensured that the average worker would be fined for not having health care coverage. Liberals continuing to unpatriotic legacy of distinguishedly propose that those in the United States illegally will be granted such protections automatically. This will obviously be economically taxed on the state, that will cost it an estimated $3 billion every year that the program continues. The only thing stopping this from coming to pass would be the bill is stopped in the state Senate. Again, unlikely possibility considering the liberal lean of the state's politicians, while they're robs of average taxpayers' benefits, those who have in no way contributed to society. The liberals who support the bill have noted that they do not fear the illegals will not take advantage of the system. Oh, really? This is ridiculous and partial, considering that they already do exactly that in seeking emergency care and health care at community clinics. Of course, there is a moral obligation to help someone who is seriously injured or in need. However, it is not Americans' responsibility to fund preventative care, yet in soon will be in California, a sanctuary state, which will now take care of illegals above its own people, further encouraging illegal immigrants from Mexico. This will also encourage immigrants currently residing in other states to move to California, where health care needs will be met. While it is only common sense to expect this, some Democrats in the state will defend such ideas in their continuing apparent desire to help non-citizens. Thankfully, there are some who understand the importance of limiting immigration rights, health policies. Economic professor from the University of Southern California, Joe Hay, rightfully opposed the state's need to continue to protect illegals, saying that the moderatehealthcare.com organization hasn't seen evidence that illegals need any additional protections. It should not require an official organization to determine this, yet it may be the only one that was willing to be questioned whether the law was necessary. However, necessity and apparently questionable under the liberal logic concerning that back in April, a judge unspecially appointed by Obama mandated that pregnant illegal immigrants in the U.S. custody may remain in the country to have abortions, while many immigrants come to the United States to escape other opposed societies. The way that liberals appear to be welcoming them undetermines actual necessity, and instead impiles that America in socialistic society, which will assist anyone in need regardless of urgency. However, such protections are not extended to law-abiding citizens, while the proposal would eliminate legal residency requirements in California's medical program known as Med-Cal. Prior to the resident amendment, illegal immigrants under the age of 19 were entitled to American health care benefits, but the recent allowance now extends to the adults who should be held responsible for obtaining their own health care. Of course, siding with illegals, the California Immigrant Policy Center Deputy Director of Programs, Counsel Osmond Said, offered such rights on the basics that mandated emergency care previously provides is not the same as having the general practitioner, and that providing health care to immigrants would be a systematic way to keep communities healthy. This is admittedly true not only for illegals but also for American citizens who cannot afford to provide their own health care. They too would be admitted under emergency circumstances but would, of course, benefit from receiving preventive care. This outrageous new provision shows that California has an unacceptable desire to help foreigners above their own residents. This can be said to be the statewide problem. However, the way that it is implemented promotes socialism on a nationwide level. Healthcare is in no way universal in the United States unless, of course, one is in the country unlawfully, which is bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. I do not agree with this new law that they passed. Why give them, Medicaid benefits when people in the United States, when you go to the Social Services Office, this is what you have to do. You apply for Medicaid. You get the application. You put all your disabilities and stuff on the Medicaid application. This is the way they do it here in North Carolina where I live. You go and apply for Medicaid. You walk into an office. You get to talk to somebody. They give you a social worker to talk to. You bring in your medical records and everything. You wait 30 days for an answer from the state, or 90 days from the state. And they will say, well, either we're going to give you Medicaid or we're not. And if you get a decision that is not in favor from you, you can go and have a hearing if you get a denial letter. So that means you will be able to go and talk to somebody and say, well, why didn't you give me Medicaid? This is all my medical records. I am disabled and I cannot work. Why did you refuse me? I mean, they make it so hard for people that are American people to sign up for Medicaid, but then you get friggin' illegals that come across from Mexico or Honduras or wherever the hell they come from, and then you give them free Medicaid benefits? This is bullshit, and it is outrageous. Jerry Brown or whoever, the Democrats, they can all go straight to hell. This is not right. You are making taxpayers, federal taxes, state taxes, whatever, you're making the people pay for it for illegals. It is not right. President Donald Trump needs to step up, whoever needs to step up, and do something about this bullshit. I mean, this needs to stop. I'm a taxpayer just like anybody else. This bullshit needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. People need to call into their congressmen. They need to call into their governor, whoever they need to call, and they need to complain about this. From state to state to state to state, call into your governors, your congressmen, or whatever, and complain about this. This BS needs to stop. Immigrants are no different from us. They should not be put at the head of the line over the American people, and that's what they're doing in the state of California. So, until next time, people, this is Terry.